Amy.
Hello.
Are you comfortable sharing with me what year you were born?
Yeah, I was born in 1999.
1999.
Yeah.
Were you born in Taiwan?
Yeah, I was born in the northern part of Taiwan, in Taipei specifically. That's like the capital of Taiwan. Yeah,
Okay. How long did you live there?
I've been living there for the past 18 years of my life, right
18
until
years.
the point before I get to US for college.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, was it you living in Taiwan? Was that a personal choice of yours, or were you kind of persuaded to come here
Oh,
to
you
the
mean
US?
like move here?
Yeah. Did you
Oh.
want to move or?
Yeah, I was always planning to study abroad. That's like a little goal in the past 18 years of my
Mhm.
life. So I was born there, raised there, take my middle school, high school in Taiwan, and then till the college, then I moved here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So what would you say is your earliest memory that you have from your childhood?
I would say starting the point that I have memory, I was just in Taiwan already.
Mhm.
So probably like 2 or 3 years old, probably.
So what do you remember from then?
It's just like these fun things, like having to interact with my family, my friends, and then the food, and also just like the normal daily life in Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's the memories.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
What kind of neighborhood did you kind of grow up in?
Oh yeah, so I was originally live in outside of the Taipei city. That's like you will call it new Taipei city for now. My memories when I was born there is like the neighborhood wasn't really fancy. It was like a developing neighborhood. There's like a lot of factories and workers in that neighbor. So I wouldn't say that neighborhood is nice and safe, but it was okay. It was like there's a lot of families, a lot of children living in that community too. So yeah, I get to like hang out with the friends in that neighbors when I was like in kindergarten after school.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So would you say that's like a common type of neighborhood in Taiwan? Do you think there's many neighborhoods like that, or is?
Oh yeah, of course. I would say that is a common type of neighborhood because the community I was in is actually really like a neighborhood. So beside how do you say, outside of that factories, there's like all living area for families. So that would pretty be a common type of neighbor, I think, in general.
Okay, so about your household, about your family a little bit, what kind of values did your parents instill in you? Like, how were you brought up? What type of values and morals was your family bringing you up?
I would say being humble. That was like my parents wanted me to have all the time because my dad having like a startup business, so our family standard of living like try to being better and better like years after years. But my dad always told me just to be humble because you need to be humble and then keep motivating yourself and like to improve yourself. So you shouldn't be really satisfied of your current status. You need to keep challenge yourself. Yeah, so like being humble and also being nice to the people around you, that I would say. And also like that kind of personality trait is shared by all of the Taiwanese people because we were taught to like being nice to everyone around you. And even though they are strangers, like when you see someone on the road need help being robbed, or like any elder people need some help, like getting some bags, helping them to cross the road, like we were taught to just walk up straight and help. Yeah.
That's really great. Was your relationship with your mother and dad good as well? Like, Was it based on that same type of kindness? What was your relationship with them?
Yeah, I would say I was closer to my dad because my mom is like the stricter one. So like she will be like demanding us doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like leaning toward my dad like every time like when I have some problems at school when I did some bad things I would just ignore like what do you say? Avoid talking to my mom about that and walk off straight to my dad and say like I done that kind of stuff. Like what should I do? Yeah. And about the value stuff, I would say like being humble and being nice is like taught by both of my parents. Like they raised me up like in the way that I should have those two personalities.
So what did you tell me about when you sit at the dinner table, for example? What do you guys talk about? Like what conversations do you have around the dinner table?
Wow, that was actually a really tough question because I will have to think about it. But like for recently, like because of COVID, I was back in Taiwan, staying with my parents. I feel like people today are just consistently checking on their phones, like instead of having engaging conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we are like checking on phones, but I would say like we will talk about news. Like when we're seeing like news on the phone, we just put down our phones and say like, oh, have you heard of that stuff? And then what's your perspective or opinions on that? Oh, and also about this thing that I just say, Taiwanese like having a really lot of freedom of speech. Like we really look into like this rights that we have.
Yeah.
And then we are so into like the news, like everyone can having opinions on the politics, the religion, like whenever like either the good opinion or bad opinions we just say out loud. So like about talking about the news on like dinner table, we will definitely sometimes have some argument because like my parents and I will have a different perspective, but we will definitely talk it out and then either we having a fight or we are get into some conclusion, we just talk it out. Yeah.
That's good. That's good though because that means you're comfortable having these conversations with your family. It's like you have, from what I'm hearing, you have like a good bond with your family. What language do you guys use?
We speak in Mandarin Chinese. Yeah, it's like Chinese, but it's like the Southern dialect. So if we speak to people from mainland China, like sometimes we couldn't actually really understand what each other are saying. But the root of Chinese is definitely the same one.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have any brothers or sisters? Any siblings?
Yeah, I have a brother. He's a freshman in college, and he also studied in the United States too.
Okay, you grew up with him in your house?
I grew up with him, and I would say he is one of my best friends. Like we have a really tight connection together. Growing up, we used to lie to our parents, like doing something that we shouldn't. Yeah.
That's great. So you have a great relationship with him too. Like, would you say he was a very big part of your life?
Yeah, true.
Back in Taiwan. Anyway, so what does your family do for a living?
Oh yeah,
if that's comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. My dad is a real estate, like he's doing that. So I would say like my parents' working hours it varies. It depends. It depends on the workload like they need to finish on that day. So family will be like a really big part of my life because my parents are mostly at home because like they have their free hours, like they can choose whenever they need to work at.
Okay, both of them. So you would spend a lot of time with your parents, like you would see them often.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Often, but sometimes it's kind of annoying because like watching my friends around me, like their parents are working like 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. They have like that block of time wouldn't be at home, but like my parents are always at home.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't do something bad.
Yeah, maybe that was good when you were little.
Yeah.
They could be around you more, but when you grew up and
It was
became a
kind of
teenager.
annoying. Yeah, I just like kind of invade my privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now you have your privacy.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite food, you would say?
Oh, I would say a lot.
You would say. Like, is there anything you
like
you like more than anything else?
yeah. Have you ever heard of stinky tofu?
I have.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite. It's like tofu being fried, but it have a kind of smell.
Yeah.
And to someone it's really stinky, but like to others it's like delicious.
Was it something was that something you would buy at like a restaurant, or was like your family preparing it for you?
Oh, it would definitely be at like a stand. Like it wouldn't be at a restaurant because it was like kind of like a street food.
Oh, it's a street food. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a local street food. Yeah.
Okay.
So-
All right. Have you found it here?
Oh yeah, I actually found it once in LA, and then it is actually in a restaurant, and the price is way more expensive than the one in Taiwan because like, it's a street food, so we get it like $1 or $2 only, but like
Yeah.
getting that at United States is like $6.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's like a lot.
Probably here is considered a delicacy.
Yeah, delicacy for
Or
sure.
something. So would you like? What about any traditional Taiwanese holidays or celebrations that you remember more vividly from like your childhood?
I would say Chinese New Year. It was like the biggest, the longest holidays like throughout the year, and then it will be like 5 days because like there's like New Year Eve, the first day of New Year, the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, and sixth. So like it's how do you say, basically just a week of holidays, and on each day we have like one specific things we need to do. Like on the New Year Eve, you will have the dinner with your father's side of the family, and then it's on the second days of the New Year, you will have the day spending with your mother's side.
Okay.
So like you get to see all of your siblings, cousins, and other family members.
Did you ever get together from both sides of the family, or it has to be it has to be strictly?
It was mostly separated, but I feel like as we grow up, like the tradition wasn't that strict anymore. So there was actually one time I met my father's side family in the morning, and then in the afternoon I spent it with my mother's side.
Okay.
Like that's a mix. But if you consider that, isn't it like legal according to our tradition? That was actually not like authorized by our tradition.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah,
do
we're
that.
not supposed to like meet it on the same day.
Do you have like a big celebration with fireworks and stuff like? Because that's what New Year's Eve is associated with here.
Yeah.
Do you have all of this, or is it more just like a family?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of celebrations.
Yeah.
Like for fireworks, we have, it's like I don't know how to say, we call it fireworks too, but they wouldn't have like any fiery stuff. It's just the sound. It's like firecracker.
Firecrackers?
Yeah, we do a lot of firecrackers.
Okay.
I forgot the name. So like we will throw it on the street and then make a lot of sound. And like the
Sounds fun.
backstory for that is because there's like a monster.
Oh.
So like we need to throw the firecrackers to scare the monster away.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I'm kind of going back on
Yeah, sure.
on what we were talking about what your family does for work, and you said they're at home very often. Is that a common thing to see as well in Taiwan? Like career-wise, do a lot of people work from home, or you would say more people just commute and go to their job?
Yeah, so like Taiwan is actually really tiny. We're in like a little island, so most of us like commute to work, but the commute time wouldn't be over 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That was like an hour will be the longest commute hour, I would say. And my family is kind of special because my parents can work whenever they want.
Yeah.
But for my friends and other family, they would having their parents like working at office from 9 to 6, and then having to meet their parents after work, after they are off school or off the cram school, like the school you take after you finish the daily school you have.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you next about what education did you get when you were in Taiwan? How was that?
Yeah. So I was like doing local school from kindergarten to 8th grade. So that's like the really local school, and I would say that is so competitive and intense because we have an entrance exam for high school and also an entrance exam for college, and those are basically based on a really huge exam. Like if you have a good score on that exam, you get into good high school or good college. But if you fail, some would choose to retake it for another year, or some just go with the flow. Like just go to that school and see how it goes. Yeah.
Did you enjoy your high school years? Like, was that
from like local? Oh, so I did local school till 8th grade, and I transferred to international school. And so for my high school, it's just really international. I met friends from Indonesia, from Korea, from Japan. Like in that school, that's like a mix. But if you're asking about like the local one, I would say I definitely enjoy it because although we are really competitive, because like everyone needs to take the exam, they are your competitors. But at the same time, they are also like your companions because like you take the exam together, you study it together. So you got the bond and relationship while taking like the studying stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's from what I'm hearing and what we talked a little about earlier. Seems like people are very competitive there when it comes to education and work and all of that.
Yeah.
And they have high standards. That's what I'm kind of understanding.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to kind of share about what we talked about earlier about your family's views on your education and about coming to college and all of that.
I definitely have something for that to say. So one of the biggest reason I choose to tell my parents I want to pursue education at the United States is because I found myself not at the top in the local school. Because so in a grade, like in the same year, you will have 900 students compete to each other. And then for every exam we take, so there's like 3 major exams per semester, and then we will rank every one of you. And there was like a saying for if you are ranked the top 100, you will get into the best high school in Taipei. But if you're like outside of the 100 ranking, you're like to the 5th or to the 6th. And then I found myself always being at the like out of the 100, the top 100 people. So I told my parents like I probably couldn't make it to the top. So I kind of want to like explore to other paths of education. So that's why like I choose to go to international school after 8th grade. Yeah.
So it was your choice going to international school?
Yeah, that was my choice. But yeah, it's definitely competitive with all your friends, and the pressure is a lot. Because parents always want you to be at the top, but like I sort of found out I couldn't make it, so like why not choose another path?
Did you have to take a lot of extracurriculars while you were there?
You mean like at the local school? Or
at the local school, high school, like...
It actually really depends, because like if you're in the local... Yeah, sure. Because like if you're in the local school, it's mainly focused on getting the good rank and focus on your academics. But like if you're in an international school, it's like everything. You have like the ranking, the sports, leadership, community service, those kind. So I would say there's a lot of difference between local Taiwanese high school and the international high school. Yeah. But I eventually find myself more into the international school, and that's why I end up being here.
Yeah, got it. What were kind of your hobbies around that time? What did you like to do outside of, like, did you play any instruments, maybe?
Yeah, so when I was back in the local school, I did figure skating.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that was like really interesting because my school is it's next to the Taipei Arena. It's like the only skating place in Taipei. And then that local school has offered like a club, like a figure skating club. So I joined that club when I was back in that school. And yeah, I practice a lot. Like it's like 2 hours per week. But then during the weekend, we will we will have friends around and we go to practice too, because we have some competition coming up. And then when I got into that, when I transferred to the international school, I ended up doing figure skating because my school is like at the top of the mountain. It's like super far away from my home too. So I commute like an hour a day to international school campus. And then at that school, I did a lot of triathlon, swimming, and yeah, it's like more stuff about the outdoors.
About the outdoors?
Yeah, and also Model United Nation too. Yeah.
That's really nice. What about outside of school? Like, what would you do like in your free time?
In my free time, I really like cycling. So, like, I would say not the fanciest bike, but like pretty good, nice bike. And I would just like go on a bike and then cycle around Taipei, because there's like a bike path in Taipei called Hobbies, and that means like the Riverside bike path, and it's like 50 kilometers. It's like really long, and I would just choose like which route to travel on that day I want to.
Oh,
yeah,
sounds really nice. That makes me think about what's nature like in Taiwan? Like, are you surrounded by a lot of green?
Yeah.
A lot of maybe water bodies?
Yeah, so like Taiwan is like, super like rich in nature resources. There's a lot of people visit Taiwan just because they want to see our mountains or mountain valleys, and also rivers and ocean, because like we are like an island. So like we are facing ocean in every aspect. And also like inside of Taiwan there's a lot of mountains too, because we are on the earthquake, the edge. So like there's like two different earthquake, the plate. So like that's why we have a lot of mountains there. Yeah.
Alright, sounds like a beautiful place. Okay, let's go back a little bit. When you were a kid, what was a normal day for you, like when you were, let's say, 10, when you were still a kid? What would you like to do with your day?
Could I like which specific age you want? Like,
well,
maybe
whatever you feel like sharing, just like before you went into this whole academic experience and everything. Sure. When you were just a kid, a free kid, walking around and doing stuff.
Like at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Like the age of like 10.
Years old. Yeah, I will be in the school, because school start in 8 o'clock in the morning. So like,
That makes sense.
I would say at that time I would definitely be in the school.
That makes sense. Tell me a little bit about your friends. Like, what did you play with them? How much time did you spend?
So for friends, we will like, for first and second grade, we ended class at 12, like in the middle of the day. So we used to like get to eat McDonald's together, because like there's a McDonald's right next to our elementary school. So we would just eat and then do some homework, and then we would just go back home, like maybe play some video games together online. Yeah.
Was that what you would do when you were still in the local school?
Yeah, that was in the local school. But then, like, cause when I get to international school, that was at my high school,
Mm-hmm.
and so for our free time, we'll definitely just go to cafe and cream, like doing our homework together. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned McDonald's. Might be a very stupid question, but does it have sticky tofu in the McDonald's there?
Oh, like, you mean like the food in McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It- mhm.
I would say the size of the meals is definitely smaller than the one in US. Like the US food size is just
Yeah.
so large too.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too.
Yeah, like the hamburger is just tiny,
Yeah.
but like the exact same hamburger in the US is like mega size.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I'm asking about the tofu
Oh,
because
tofu.
yeah, because I've noticed also that in different McDonald's around the world they kind of sometimes
Oh.
have different
Yeah.
foods from here.
So there's no stinky tofu in McDonald's there,
There's
but we actually have. Do you know hash brown, like the
Mhm,
potato?
hash browns?
Yeah, we will have hash brown in the middle of our hamburgers, like hash brown, cheese, and steak.
Oh.
And that's pretty like loved by all Taiwanese. We just love hash brown so much.
That sounds delicious.
And it must be the hash brown from McDonald's.
It has to be from
It
McDonald's.
has to be from
There's-
McDonald's. Yeah.
So when you were a kid, did you play outside a lot? Or would you say you would like go when you were maybe younger, when you were like, 6?
Yeah.
So before school at all, when you were probably kindergarten.
Yeah, like there's a lot of park because like Taipei is a city, but there's like always be some tiny small park, and
Yeah.
then like me and my brother will just take our bike and then we get to the park and hang around, and we will also meet other little kids there too. Like we will play together,
Mhm.
like on a bike or throwing the ball, like
Yeah.
at each other. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say was your favorite place in Taiwan that you can remember right now? Like if you could go back right now, where would you go?
Do you mean like for childhood or like
For whenever, for all of them.
for now? I would kind of say the nightclubs
The nightclub?
because at Taiwan, would that be appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay. At Taiwan is like 18 years old, you are
Okay.
adult, but like at here it's 21.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of nightclub in Taipei, and whenever I get back to visit my friend, we will just go to nightclubs or like the bar. We will have some drink and talk. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. What about when you were a child then? Cause
Like I would say the night market.
the night market?
Yeah, so like a lot of the street food will be along the street sides, and then for night market it's just literally like food stand
Mhm.
on the street, and then there will be like fences around the road, so like the cars and motorbike couldn't get inside there, and then you just walk on the street, and then get the food you want, and then eat while you walk along.
That sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, so like yeah, it comes to night market, and there will also be some little games like catch the fish.
Mm.
Like, do you ever saw like the Japanese animation? Like
Yeah.
those kind of like we catch the fish with the there's like a tool for you
Yeah,
to
like the magnet.
Oh yeah. So also that too. Yeah, so like there's game you just pay a little bit of
Mm.
money and then you get to play with that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you can tell me about what kind of games you play with your friends, but can you like tell me a very traditional Taiwanese game?
Yeah, sure. So there's like a game called jumping blocks. So we will use the chalk, and then we draw different blocks on the floor.
Okay.
And then like if there's like only one block, you just use 1 feet to jump on it. If there's like 2 blocks, we use 2
Yeah.
feet. And then we need to like we draw the blocks on the floor and jump like jump continuously on the floor, like turning it around and around.
Yeah, I know of that game. I'm not sure what
Wow.
the name is here, but yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard
there's
of
also
that
a game here. to
There, I don't know if it's here. It might be
in the country.
back home in my country, but
Mhm.
I don't know the name of it.
Also, like
What did you say? It's in Taiwan. The name
in
of the
Chinese,
game?
or I'm not really sure in English, but like if I
Yeah,
translate
tell me
into
Chinese.
English, it's like jumping the
Jumping
blocks.
blocks. What is it in Chinese?
跳格子. 跳 is
Okay.
like jump, and
Mhm.
格子 is block. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your friends a little bit. Do you still keep in touch with them? With you being here and all of that.
Yeah. So for my local elementary school and middle school friends, I still keep in touch with them, and I am like the only person being out from getting out to US for college. So I will text them sometimes like once or two, like one or 2 months, and having some text, and then I will hang out with them whenever I visit back home. And there's also a kind of food we call 热炒. It's like you just walk into the store and you get to buy a lot of the alcohol, and a lot of like traditional Taiwanese food, like vegetable, fish, or meat, and then we have rice together. Like we will always get into that kind of restaurant and then eat and talk. Yeah.
Okay, that's really nice. It's good that you still keep in touch with them because
Mhm.
you mentioned your 4th year, so you've been here for a while.
Yeah. So it's always really good to get in touch with them.
Yeah. So, can you tell me like some words that you would kind of often hear in your household and as a child, like some words that you can now remember hearing around you when you were a child?
Probably my mom calling me. It's like it's a kind of nightmare. But like whenever she call me in my phone name, you know you're in trouble. But whenever it's like oh daughter, sweet daughter, then that's fine. But yeah, I would say like my mom calling my phone name in Chinese. That would be the most things I heard of. Yeah, and the most remembered one.
How is a normal way to greet someone?
Like saying hi.
You know, yeah, like saying hi. How would you greet?
Or just like hey, just hey or hello, or calling each other name. Yeah, that would be how we greet. But I found it interesting, like in the United States, we will say how are you or how's your day.
Yeah.
But like in Taiwan, you just say hi. Cause like if you say how's your day or how are you, we would dive into the conversation and tell you like what happened throughout the day.
Yeah, it's an actual question.
Yeah, like to us that's an actual question, but like to Americans it's like a greeting things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of on a different topic. Did you watch a lot of cinema like back then? You mentioned games
Yeah.
too. Did you like the outside world, what's outside of Taiwan, was that something that was very accessible in Taiwan? Like would you see
I would
this type of
say
media?
yeah. I would say like international news are accessible, but because like Taiwan is just a little island, so we probably don't really care that much about international stuff. And it was really not until I transferred to international school then I noticed like so many things around us, like outside of Taiwan, like we never being noticed. Because like we just like really focus what happened within that island. I would say that's like a drawback for us because we are not really like internationalized compared to like Hong Kong or Japan. They are more like internationalized. Like their people talk about the news or politics from Europe or from America. Yeah.
What about music? What kind of music would you listen to? Like was Taiwanese music what's the most listened to, or is it like international music? What would people usually listen?
I would say like both. I listen to both American music and also Taiwanese music, but not there's actually Taiwanese and Chinese, and we actually speak like Mandarin Chinese more instead of Taiwanese, because that's like your grandparents like what they are saying to you.
Okay.
Like I would say I'm a bad Taiwanese because I couldn't really speak Taiwanese for now, but I could hear what they are. I could understand what my grandparents say in Taiwanese, and so listening music is mostly in Mandarin Chinese, and that is like Taiwanese producers are really good at music. So a lot of the Taiwanese singers actually moved to mainland China because they really love our music. Yeah, so I would say Mandarin Chinese song in Taiwan is really good.
Was it so like Taiwanese, particularly Taiwanese language, was something that was kind of where the older generations would use that?
Yeah.
It's kind of not as used anymore.
It is still using nowadays. Like when you go to some food stand, you saw those elder people selling the food. They will speak Taiwanese to you, but if you say like walking on the street in Taipei, like in our capital, we wouldn't be speaking Taiwanese. But if you go to the southern part, there's a lot of Taiwanese. Okay. Like the kids around my age, they will also speak in Taiwanese too, but not the people from capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but it is how it is.
Yeah, because I would imagine Taiwanese is something we speak only in Taiwan. Something very unique to the culture there.
Yeah, but I still believe that like people right now still like understand the language, but we just don't really speak it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me some of your favorite memories while growing up. You can tell me anything from like being a very little kid to being a teenager. Some of your favorite memories growing up.
Oh, I would say like watching the drama. There's like a series of Taiwanese drama. It just never ends. It's like you have the first series and then the second one, and then the cast just like keep changing. And whenever you say the name of that drama, like everyone just, oh, I remember that drama, and then what happened in the drama and which part we loved it. And like I just met a group of Taiwanese people last weekend because I went to like a trip with my friend.
Yeah.
And then although like they are like 25 years old, I'm like 22. Although like there's like a little age gap, but somebody just mentioned about the drama name. We just all sit down and talk about the drama. Yeah, it's like a shared memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are usually the best ones. The shared memories. What about some memories with your family? Maybe, going on a trip.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of trip when I was like smaller, when I'm like in kindergarten or just like times before elementary school, because like that's like the point you get more into academic. Yeah. But like right before that point, my parents will always brought me and my brother to like outside of Taipei, maybe like Yilan, and that's like a countryside. Although it's just like an hour and a half to travel to there, but we would just like travel there, get some food, and there's a lot of there's like the hot spring. It's like the hot water. Yeah, we will we'll enjoy our time in the hot springs and the food there. Yeah, that would be like my memory with my parents.
Yeah, that sounds really great. What about just to contrast to these like good as memories you have? What was a very challenging experience you would say you had to struggle with during your childhood?
Childhood.
Overall, your experience.
Yeah, probably just the time I'm in the local middle school, because there's a lot of competitions. There's a lot of comparing of your grade and ranking. Yeah, that would be the most challenging part for me, for sure.
Yeah, would you say this is something a lot of kids your age would feel, like being in a competition, feeling pressure of competing with others?
I will say that that's like that's like a sheer pressure on us. And then like also when you got into college, like your family member will compare you to another cousin, like, oh, she's in the best college, or you're like in the middle college, you're stupid. Yeah, that's like, it's a pressure there, and we couldn't change it. It just like it just like being stay throughout the generation. It's like how our parents being treated when they are small too. So I hope like this culture about competition in the grade could change someday. Like I think the education structure definitely need a change in Taiwan.
Is that, would you say this competition that is only in education and work, or do you see it implemented in everyday life as well, like outside of any education and work? Do you see it in like relationship between people?
Yeah, I would say also for like your social status, because like there's like a path being defined by the parents. Like if you get into a good college, you get a good job, you earn more money, you have a higher social status, like that. It's like kind of interrelated to each other, but I wouldn't say that it really affected like the society overall. Yeah, because like it's just like how it is around the world. It will also happen in here. Like if you work a lot, earn more money, you have higher social status, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it affect our life, but it is like interrelated too.
When you grew up, what kind of life and profession did you kind of imagine having as a grown-up? Meaning in both a family sense and a career sense. Like how would you imagine your family would be in the future, your job?
Yeah, I would say it was always like focused in the business field. Like I try to explore like the data science, the computer science part, but I found out that wouldn't be my thing. And also because like my families are doing business like since I was growing up, so that kind of impact me like to choose what I'm majoring right now, and also like my parents expecting me to do the business related things. Yeah,
but what about in a family plan, and like how would you imagine your future family life to be
like my
your own?
My own. I actually never imagined about that, but I would say like just saying like me and my husband being working and then having our children. Maybe I will stop like a year or two just to make sure the children are big enough to take care of himself in kindergarten, and then I will probably go back to work. Because I found like, because my mom is like a housewife and she's having all of her balance on us, and then when both of us left Taiwan for college, she's like losing herself because she doesn't have things to do. So I would imagine me like going back into workforce even if I have a child.
Even if you have a child, if you do have children, would you like them to be brought up how you were brought up? Like, would you like them to have the childhood that you did, or would you change things?
I would say, because like I'm thinking going back to the working environment, so I don't think I will be like flexible as my parents did, like always being at home. So that would probably be the differences between. But I would definitely taught my children like the way my parents taught me, like a bit pressure, but like I mean having those pressures like push me to what I've achieving today.
Yeah.
So, but I will definitely change some like more lean toward liberal. It's like instead of like always wanting my children to do the only things, but instead like we will have to like a space for conversation, and then like to see can we like choose another path or any other things that we could talk together. Yeah,
definitely. Would you are you planning to going back to Taiwan in the future to, start this family and this journey, or do you see yourself doing it here?
That's actually a really huge question for me right now, because so that's a bit personal, but like I have a boyfriend. He's in the Middle West in the U.S. too, and he's like waiting for his immigrant status. So he's definitely going to stay in the U.S. But for me, I'm still not sure. I have an internship like after graduation, and probably just try to find a full-time job. But if I couldn't, I will picture myself getting back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, for myself, I will be back in Taiwan for raising my family and work as well. But I will also support my children to study in U.S. like if I could financially support them.
Okay, so to kind of finish this whole thing up, what kind of feelings, when you overall think about your whole childhood in Taiwan, what kind of feelings does all of this brings you? Your memory of your life in Taiwan, what kind of feelings does it invoke in you?
It is home.
It is home.
It is home. It is where I came from. It is my root. It is where all of my family is at. Yeah, so I would say being at US would be a good experience for me, but overall I will definitely get back to Taiwan someday and then raise my family there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I can understand that really well.
Yeah.
But that is also a good thing, because that means that you associate your previous life in Taiwan with warm feelings.
Yeah, because it's also like rest of my family. My grandparents are back there, and like the family sense in Taiwanese it's a really big part of our life. So I wouldn't want to like my grandparents pass away while I'm being here. So definitely I would be there for them. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of depressing.
I understand that. I was gonna say something about my personal experience about that, but if you could go back and tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would that be?
Spend more time with your grandparents, because you never imagine like what would happen to them. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I absolutely agree.
Yes.
I think that everyone should spend more time with their grandparents.
Like families in general, because like it's just bad thing would happen sometimes, like COVID, like accidents, like you couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, you never know, and our grandparents are kind of the people that carry all this culture that we grew up in, and a lot of knowledge that we can get if we only spend more time with them.
Yeah,
So I definitely agree with that.
Wouldn't be them being there, like wouldn't be us being here.
Exactly. Okay, lastly, finishing this thing up, can you tell me only 3 words?
3 words.
To summarize your childhood in Taiwan.
3 words. Oh, that's so hard.
I know, it's difficult. First 3 words that come to mind.
It was wonderful. It is like a wonderful. I'm out of my words. Memories and cherish.
Beautiful words, wonderful memories to cherish.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Amy, so much.
Thank you
for doing this with me and sharing your experience.
Yeah, thank you.